What is up, Budget Billers? My name is Trill and I am so glad to be back with you guys again on this lovely Tuesday. Please forgive me as I was on vacation with the family. We took a day to visit Disneyland in California and then we had a family wedding to attend in San Diego. But I am back again, and what a great time to return to you guys as President Biden finally signed that bipartisan infrastructure deal into law on Monday evening. This was a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill that was actually voted in favor in the Senate back in August. But since then, the bill was being held hostage by progressives and them trying to use the bill to persuade Senator Joe Manchin to support the massive stimulus bill. But after progressives were blasted by Senator Manchin during a press conference, and after the Democrats lost big in the elections earlier this month, they decided to press forward with the House vote and it passed. And now finally being signed into law by the president himself. So what does this mean going forward, guys? Well, they can now focus on the finalization of the larger stimulus bill, which the price tag should be between $1.7 trillion and $2.1 trillion. And it should also include another round of stimulus checks, we hope, as multiple lawmakers are still calling for at least one more check to be included in this bill. And also we have information suggesting that the Democrats could be able to pass this bill as early as this week. And lastly, there were more $300 monthly stimulus checks that went out on yesterday. I hope you guys have checked your bank accounts for those monthly stimulus checks. Now, before we get started, guys, hey, you already know what to do. If you're interested in those topics, hey, be so kind and go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out this video as well as this channel. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free, guys. Now, let's go ahead and jump right back into this video. Amazon.com is in a little bit of trouble here recently. They were accused of withholding information on the amount of Amazon employees that were catching COVID while working. I guess they didn't want the public to know that they were still operating as usual while putting their employees at major risk. Amazon has settled in court with California over claims that it concealed COVID-19 cases from its warehouse workers. On Monday, Amazon reached a settlement with California's Attorney General over the claims that it concealed information in regards to COVID-19 virus cases. Now, the company has agreed to notify warehouse workers within 1 day of new COVID cases, as well as to provide the exact number of cases in their workplace. California State Attorney General Rob Bonta said in a statement that Amazon employs tens of thousands of warehouse workers in the state. Now, under this agreement, which is still subject to court approval, Amazon will also notify local health agencies within 48 hours of new COVID cases, as well as pay $500,000 towards additional enforcement of California's consumer protection laws. Now, the Amazon spokesperson, which is Barbara Agrat, said that there's no particular change as of now, nor allegations of any problems with the company's protocols related to notifying employees who may have exposed to COVID. Now, we're glad to have this resolved and to see that the Attorney General found no substantial issues with the safety measures in our buildings. This settlement comes after California in January enacted stricter COVID workplace regulations as part of the Assembly Bill 685, or the Right to Know law. The regulations require businesses to report COVID cases to workers within 1 business day, among some other stipulations. So yeah, guys, Amazon has lost this battle here, but they're being subject to paying up to $500,000, which is not a lot of money for Amazon. That's pretty much just a drop in the bucket, especially when we see what Jeff Bezos is worth in today's market. In addition to that, hey, the governor of Iowa is also in trouble. Audit finds Iowa's governor spent some COVID-19 funds on some employee salaries. Governor Kim Reynolds of Iowa was accused in an audit report of using nearly $450,000 in federal funding intended for COVID-19 relief to fund 3 months of salaries for over 20 staff members. The staff audit on government spending published on Monday said that Reynolds attempted to cover up the spending by passing it through the State Departments of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, but it was unclear of why these salaries had to be paid using the federal money, according to the Associated Press. They said that what is not clear is why these salaries was not included in the governor's budget that was set prior to the fiscal year and prior to the pandemic. The state auditor, Rob Sand, said that based on this information, we conclude that the budget shortfall was not a result of the pandemic. Now, Sand also added that he asked twice for documents to provide reasoning for the spending, but was told that the governor's office was completely focused on the COVID-19 response and did not provide any proof of information. Now, in October, Sand told Reynolds that paying staff salaries without necessary documentation was unlikely to be approved federally. But on a spreadsheet Sand requested from the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management included a section labeled Fiscal Year 2020 Shortfall and an amount of $448,000. A later version of the document labeled the section COVID-19 Personal Costs, but listed the same amount of money according to the Associated Press. Now, during this time, the governor's staff spent a vast majority of their time responding to the pandemic. In fact, many members of Governor Reynolds' staff worked 7 days a week out of the state's Emergency Operations Center to provide direct support to Iowans. And this has always been our justification for the expense, but we are now working with the Treasury to provide them documentation per their request. Now, I will say I don't buy that at all, guys. I believe that they were using this stimulus money that was supposed to go for the American people. They've used it to pay for 20 employees and cover their salaries. I just don't agree with that, guys. Now, guys, it's time for some stimulus update news. President Biden held a stimulus bill signing ceremony on Monday afternoon.
Well, folks, I'm going to get you each a pen, but there's 30 of you up here, but I only have one pen. Just breaking the 30 part.
Sorry, Vice President, please.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Bravo. Thank you. Good job.
Hey, take a look here, guys, at this title of this article right here. Biden finally gets the big effing deal signing ceremony of his own. President Joe Biden did on Monday what his immediate predecessors couldn't do, according to this article, which is signing a sweeping infrastructure bill into law, and with a bipartisan crowd of lawmakers cheering him on as he did so. The bill directs $550 billion in new spending towards roads, bridges, water, pipelines, broadband, and other major projects. It was championed by the White House as a generalization investment in the country's crumbling infrastructure. It's also a feature that President Biden predicted on the campaign trail he would actually accomplish once in office. Now, too often in Washington, the reason we didn't get things done is because we insisted on getting everything that we wanted included in this bill, according to President Biden. With this law, we focused on getting things done. I ran for president because the only way to move this country forward, in my view, was to compromise and consensus. That's how the system works, and that's how American democracy works. Now, the signing of this bill comes as a precautious time for President Biden, coinciding with a sputtering of his approval rating that has been created a mortal threat to his party's hold on the slim majorities in Washington. So yes, guys, to paraphrase one of my favorite former vice presidents, it's a big effing deal, said Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, referring to the Biden's comment that he made when President Barack Obama at the signing of the Affordable Care Act back in 2020. Biden said on Monday that the world has changed and we have to be ready for it. My fellow Americans, today, I want you to know that we hear you and we see you. The bill I'm about to sign into law is proof that despite the cynics, Democrats and Republicans can come together to deliver results. Now, guys, hey, the question is, now that we have successfully passed the first part of the Build Back Better agenda from President Biden, what is going to be next? Well, they are still trying to pass the second portion of that agenda, which they have been working on for more than 60 days now, in which they continue to face opposition from Senators Joe Manchin and Christine Sinema. However, it seems like the opposition is getting a little bit better for the Democrats in passing this bill. Yes, the Democrats expect to pass $1.75 trillion Biden package sometime this week. The House Democrats are racing this week to pass President Biden's $1.75 trillion social and climate spending package, which would give the party a burst of momentum heading into Thanksgiving recess break. Now, debate over the package has been filled with drama throughout the summer and the fall, with progressives and centrists battling over the measure's contents, pushing an embarrassing intra-party fight into the national spotlight. Now, those battles will continue in the Senate, which is unlikely to take action on the measure before December. Now, centrists such as Senator Joe Manchin and Christine Sinema, whose arguments have helped whittle the once $3.5 trillion package into half of that cost, have yet to formally back the measure, and more changes are possible to come here soon. Now, all at the same time, Democrats feel that they are on the verge of a huge milestone in the House, where passage would be a big victory for the party. House Democrats continue to hold out, have vowed to support the bill when it comes to the floor this week, even as they continue to wait for new numbers from the Congressional Budget Office to see if the package will add to the deficit. Now, despite of the possibility of new drama coming forward in the Senate, senior Democrats say that they are confident that Congress can send the package to Biden's desk by the end of this year. But we heard from one senior Democrat, Representative G.K. Butterfield. He said that, "I think we can get it passed before Christmas." Now, part of the Democrats' messaging challenge is that the fact that the Build Back Better agenda is still in influx. With inflation recently hitting a 30-year high, Senator Joe Manchin will have fresh leverage on demand cuts to the House's $1.75 trillion package, which features several provisions he has consistently resisted in the past, including paid family leave and a Medicare expansion program. So yes, guys, depending on Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Christine Sinema, this week they could be able to sign this bill at least in the House. They plan on bringing everything to a vote after they receive the official numbers to make sure that these numbers are not going to add to the government's deficit, because that is Republicans' biggest holdup right now, as well as Senator Joe Manchin's holdup as far as approving of this bill, because he doesn't believe that adding another $1.75 trillion to the deficit is needed right now, when a time when inflation is hitting 30-year highs. But if the numbers come out and these numbers are not going to add to the deficit, then we could have Senator Joe Manchin support on supporting this bill. And then we can actually receive a vote in favor of this bill in the House, which will then be sent on over to the Senate for their vote, which we already can expect the Senate to actually remove some of those provisions within the bill before they are able to sign this bill. But we will have to see, guys. And last but not least, guys, hey, a lot of Americans are excited as of yesterday because the fifth installment of the child tax credits were deposited into their bank accounts on Monday. Some people received another $300 monthly stimulus check, and some people received $250 checks for each child. There is going to be one more payment coming this year in December, and it may be the last child tax credit payment if Congress is unable to extend the provision within the larger $1.75 trillion human infrastructure package. Right now on the table, they are closely looking at extending the provision through the end of 2022, but the Democrats have been trying to extend it until the year of 2025, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen in this particular stimulus bill. But surprisingly, statistics for the child tax credit have shown that it has been doing what it has been intended to do. So yes, referring to this article back in August, it says that the child tax credit lifted 3 million kids from poverty in the month of July alone. Now, this article says that the first monthly payment of the child tax credit lifted households with 3 million children out of poverty in July, according to a Columbia University analysis. It also says that it represents a 25% cut in the child poverty rate, as well as the rate will likely fall further, but depend on the success of the outreach efforts to lower income parents who don't typically file a tax return. So yeah, guys, we can see that the child tax credit has been increasing and has been improving America, as well as removing children out of poverty. So yes, guys, this thing has actually been working. And this is our 5th installment of this thing. And we have one more installment coming next month on December the 15th. So yes, we need this provision in the stimulus bill to actually be extended at least through the end of 2022. But hopefully later on, they can extend this up into the end of 2025. But hey guys, all in all, hey, I hope the child tax credit continues for years to come. I prefer families receiving it this particular way, which is tangible money in their pockets versus claiming it at the end of the year on their taxes and never really seeing the actual dollars being in their actual hands. But that's just my opinion, guys. But let me know what you guys think as well. But anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. Now, if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like this video, then go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out a lot, and it also tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.